And the murky Kerala cyanide murder cases have created ripples in the state. Many find it hard to believe that a woman known to be family-oriented, well-respected and liked could be a cold-blooded killer. And the police are...
You may have heard this quote quite a lot. Stranger than fiction? Well, folks, today's case is nothing short of that. Today's case file takes us to Kerala, India, where a series of unnatural deaths, later suspected to be murders, occurred in Kudathai in Kerala, India. A 47-year-old woman was later arrested for these murders in late 2019, reportedly poisoning 6 people, including a 2-year-old girl. These 6 people were none other than her own family members. Her name was Jolly Joseph, also known as Jolly Amma. These killings happened in a span of 14 years from 2002 to 2016. The case shook the whole nation and quickly became the subject of national and international media. So without wasting any time, let's jump into this bizarre case file of Jolly Joseph, or better known as the Cyanide killings. Jolly Joseph was born in 1972 in Kerala, India, to parents C.C. Joseph and Teresa Amma. She grew up in a traditional setting with strong community values. She was a good grade A student, but then later in her college life, decided to drop out after the first year. She later forged her educational qualifications by creating fake certificates and documents. According to reports, Jolly held fake certificates for BCom and MCom. She also falsely claimed to have a job as a professor at NIT Calcutta, a well-respected university in India. During a housewarming ceremony of one of her relatives, Manjarel Matthew, there she met a young man by the name of Roy and instantly fell in love with him. Now Matthew was her father, Joseph's brother-in-law, and Roy's maternal uncle. After that first meeting, Jolly and Roy would speak for hours on the phone as their love would increase by the day. In 1997, the two would then get married. The couple later had 2 sons together. Things seemed to be going really well in the life of Jolly. She married into a pretty well-off family. She had a very loving husband who she shared 2 amazing children with. Now granted, a marriage sure had their ups and downs, just like in any other marriage, but despite that, her husband deeply cared and loved her. So what could possibly go wrong? Let's find out. In 2002, Amma Thomas, the mother-in-law of Jolly, drank a glass of water after returning home from a walk. Immediately afterwards, she began to feel uneasy and dizzy, eventually collapsing on the floor. She was taken to the hospital, where she later died, and the doctors declared she had suffered a heart attack. She was 57 at the time. 6 years later, in 2008, Tom Thomas, Anamma's husband and Jolly's father-in-law, passed away after swooning and collapsing. He was 66 at the time. He too was declared to have suffered a heart attack. In 2011, Jolly's husband, Roy Thomas, died after consuming his dinner. He was found dead in a bathroom, which was locked from the inside. The cause of death was later ruled out as suicide due to some financial issues, as the post-mortem report showed traces of poison. Roy's maternal uncle, Matthew, called for a post-mortem report and an inquiry into Roy's cause of death. Matthew had long suspected something was suspicious. Matthew was deeply dissatisfied with the deaths that had happened in the family. It was getting quite odd that all 3 of them passed away in the same exact manner. Even though he managed to get an autopsy done, which revealed the presence of cyanide in Roy's body. The autopsy was handed over to Jolly. Jolly later told the police that Roy was an alcoholic and had taken his life due to falling into a huge debt. Unfortunately for Matthew himself, 2014 he too died after he drank a poison-laden whiskey. In the same year, on May 1st, 2014, Roy's cousin Sheju had a small get-together party arranged for his eldest daughter, Abel's first Holy Communion. His younger daughter, 2-year-old Alphine Sheju, died after choking on her food. After this tragic incident, naturally, little Alphine's mother, Silly Sheju, had gone into a severe state of depression. In 2016, to help her cope with this depression, Jolly gave her a mushroom capsule, saying it would help her gain some much-needed energy and help her with some relief from fatigue and depression. Not soon after Silly had taken this capsule, she died on the spot. This was the final death in the family. Then in 2017, Jolly had remarried to Sheju Zachariah. Many in the family were convinced what the real motive of Jolly was. She tied the knot with Sheju in 2017. Now, around all these unfortunate events, Tom Thomas's youngest son, Rojo Thomas, who was residing in the United States at the time, decided to fly back to India. He, along with his sister, Renji Thomas, worked really hard to unravel the mystery surrounding all these unfortunate deaths in the family. They had long suspected that there is something fishy about Jolly. For instance, right after their mother's death, it was Jolly who decided to play the role of the matriarch of the family and even managed to gain the respect of everyone in the family. Around this time, she also managed to get a job as a lecturer at NIT, as mentioned earlier, a renowned academic institution in India. But in 2012, Rojo tried to find out if what Jolly had claimed was true or not. Upon his own investigations, he would find out that no one at the institution had ever heard the name Jolly before. This raised some serious suspicions about Jolly Joseph. But this wasn't all. Both Rojo and Renji would come to know that their father decided to alter his will and leave everything to Jolly and her family. In 2018, Rojo received a copy of the autopsy report of his brother Roy, where it was revealed that there were indications of poisoning in his body. Renji, Roy's sister, filed a complaint to the police that led to an investigation which then later resulted in the arrest of Jolly Joseph. After finding discrepancies in the initial findings, the police decided to exhume the bodies of the deceased from the family burial on October 4th, 2019, which revealed that all 6 deaths were in fact murders. On the 5th of October 2019, Jolly was finally arrested. During the course of the investigation, Jolly confessed to using cyanide to kill the 6 aforementioned people. She allegedly obtained the cyanide with the help of Ms. Matthew and Prajikumar, who later were also arrested. According to the police, Matthew, a jewelry shop employee who was also a distant relative and lover of Jolly, was the one who provided Jolly with the cyanide. He reportedly told the police that he had procured the cyanide from Prajikumar after giving him 2 bottles of alcohol and 5,000 INR. Matthew claims that Jolly asked him for cyanide to kill the stray dogs around her house. Soon after, Prajikumar, who was a goldsmith, allegedly gave Ms. Matthew the cyanide. He stated that he assumed the poison was being bought to kill stray dogs. As of now, Jolly is currently serving her time in jail. She committed these horrific acts just for some financial gains. This is truly one of the sickest cases that I have ever come across in recent times. In fact, in 2023, Netflix released a documentary called Curry and Cyanide, which in detail discusses this horrific case and tries to help us understand who exactly Jolly is. I would highly recommend you guys to check it out. It is also important to know that out of the 6 bodies, only 2 had traces of cyanide in them: Roy's post-mortem and Cilly's exhumed remains. In 2023, the remaining 4 body samples were sent to the Center Forensic Laboratory for further analysis, but the results were negative or inconclusive. The trials for this case began on March the 6th, 2023 and are still ongoing to this day. Well folks, that was the end of the case file. Hope you did find the video interesting. If you've made it this far, I would genuinely appreciate it if you would give this video a like, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, as it would really help me. Until next time, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and please be safe. Peace.